we're going to work with the observing mind versus the thinking mind. And it's really interesting what the thinking mind does to us. You know, we go through our lives and our thinking mind tells us stories about the events that we experience. And often these stories are not exactly accurate, depending on what we focus on. So today we're going to learn how to focus differently on the many thoughts that come through our minds. So I think we talked last time about thoughts being like a stream, and many times we just kind of swim along in the stream with our thoughts, and we don't realize that we can choose what we focus on. Sometimes we actually feel like we're kind of drowning in our own thoughts. So today we're going to learn how to kind of sit on the bank, as it were, and watch our thoughts go by. Sometimes our thoughts are not exactly reality. Simultaneously, we often have pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral experiences and thoughts, but we can choose which one we focus on as they happen. And realize too that negativity bias is the mind's natural tendency to focus on bad news rather than good news, and that is really just a human survival instinct. Certainly during these times, it's really easy to focus on the negative because we're all hoping we're going to survive this pandemic. But even in the midst of all this, we can choose what we wish to focus on. So it can be easy to ignore neutral events. It can be easy to minimize positive events, but they're all happening every day, right along with all of the negativity that is in our lives right now. So today we're going to work with observing mind so that we can notice the good that's around us. So I'm going to get my timer ready here. And I invite you all to get comfortable, whether it is in your seat or whether you choose to lie on the floor in semi-supine, that is simply on your back with your knees bent, and settle into your position of choice. And as you are comfortable, feel free to close your eyes if that helps you. You're also welcome to simply lower your gaze and allow it to unfocus slightly. And allow your breath to be as it is. And your attention can gently rest on your breath wherever you notice it most easily. Whether it's at your nostrils or your mouth, or in the rise and fall of your chest, or the movement of your belly. Whatever is most noticeable for you, allow your attention to gently rest there. And remember that we're not trying to control the breath, we're just observing it. We're also not evaluating it. We're not evaluating whether the breath is high or low, or shallow or deep. It simply is what it is. And this time, rather than turning our attention away from any thoughts and back to the breath, I invite you to welcome any thoughts that bubble up in your mind. And the exercise is this. As each thought presents itself, notice it. Do not resist it in any way. And attach the gentlest of labels to it. For instance, your thought might fall under the category of worrying, or planning, or remembering. Keep it fairly gentle and general. And I also invite you to not think too hard about categorizing your thoughts. If you get stuck, you can simply say, thinking. And as you label each thought, do so with great gentleness, and then release the thought and return your attention to the breath. You might find that a new thought presents itself very frequently. That is fine. Remember that our brains are meant for thinking. Your only task is to label the thought, or to simply call it thinking, and then return your attention to the breath. You might also find that the same category of thoughts wells up repeatedly. Maybe planning is your brain's thing today. Maybe worrying is what it's consumed with. We're not even evaluating that. We're not evaluating patterns. We're simply releasing each thought with gentle acknowledgement, and then returning to the breath. Remember to be kind to yourself and to your thoughts. Each time that you label and release them. And allow your attention to take in the sounds around you. The sensation of the chair or the floor beneath you. And in a few moments, when you hear the bell, gently, when you're ready, open your eyes.